Today we are going to discuss about economic importance of the bryophytes. Bryophytes are chlorophyll bearing thallophytes, and in these bryophytes the sex organs are multicellular and these are protected by a layer of sterile cells. Here the plant body is thallus and means it does not have true roots, stem and leaves. The bryophytes are called as the amphibians of the plant kingdom and it is without vascular tissue. But a few bryophytes have economically important. Some bryophytes are used as a source of food, but these bryophytes are not edible. But in some underdeveloped countries, they are used as a source of food. Example: the peat moss is used as a famine food in China. The sphagnum is used as a preparation of bread. Moss capsules of bryome and polytrichum constituents the chief diet of the Norwegian grouse cheeks, and the capsule of the moor inhabiting mosses are the favorite food for the red grouse cheeks. And some bryophytes are medicinally used. For example, the Markantia polymorpha is used to cure the tuberculosis and liver disease. So this Markantia polymorpha, Markantia stellata, Polytrichum commune, these extracts have the anti-tumor properties. The sphagnum, the dry decoction of the sphagnum, is also used to cure the hemorrhage and eye diseases. And the peat tar is also having antiseptic properties. So this sphagnum is mostly used in hospitals because they have some adsorbent property. So because of this they are used as adsorbent bandages in hospitals. Some of them used in a horticulture. Sphagnum and peat are of a great use in horticulture. Why? Because they have the good organic manure for the plants. Peat is an important source of humus. Sphagnum is also used as a packing for grafting scions to protect them against drying. A few bryophytes play an important role in checking the soil erosion. They are also used as a pollution indicators. Here some of the bryophytes can absorb the metals and they form the complexes. Example sphagnum. So this accumulation of the metallic cations with the mosses, they enable them to use as a atmospheric and aquatic pollution indicators and also in mineralogical surveys. Actually the bryophytes are classified into two types based on their sensitivity to the pollutants. Means the first one is that is very sensitive to the pollutants, means they show the symptoms of injury even in the presence of a minute quantities of pollutants. And the another one of the bryophytes is they have the capacity to absorb and retain the pollutants in quantities much higher than those absorbed by other group of the plants growing in the same habitat. When the first one is a very sensitive to the pollutants and they show some symptoms, but the second one is they absorb the higher amount of the pollutants than the other plants growing in the same region, so that they can trap and prevent the recycling of such pollutants in the different periods of time in that ecosystem. So we can say these biophytes are a good pollution indicators. Some of the biophytes are used in industrial uses. Peat is used in the preparation of ethyl alcohol. Nitrate, brown dyes, and tanning materials are produced from the peat. Some of the chemicals and some of the alkaloids like unsaturated lipids, fatty acids, esters, flavonoids, terpenoids, phenolics, these are the chemical substances present in the bryophytes. Some are used as a packing materials. The dried peat moss are used to pack the bulbs, cuttings, seedlings for shipment. Peat is used as a packing material for fruits, fish, eggs, meat for cold storage. Bryophytes are used in experimental botany. First, the sexual reproduction was confirmed in the liverworts like Spirocarpus. The bryophytes helps in the experimental studies on polyploidy in liverworts. Some bryophytes have antibiotics properties. Example Conocephalum conicum. It is antibiotically active. And the sphagnum are also having antibiotic properties. This sphagnum inhibits the growth of the Staphylococcus aureus and Pseudomonas argemania. Next, the bog succession. It is very important. The mud binds the mud particles generally, and this mud is covered with moss plants. So in this mud, the moss plants are covered. So the mosses on the edges, especially the peat moss, they are gradually extended into the water bodies. Actually, they are grown on the edges of the water bodies and they are gradually extended into the water bodies and develop into interconnected bed called as a quaking grass. As it bears abundant humus, it helps in germination of seeds. The plant grow and establish a root system into water and ultimately develops into plant community. This is about the bog moss. Next, formation store rock builders. Moss plants combine with algae in small ponds in the presence of calcium carbonate and they form the stores. Here, the solidified calcium carbonate forms the calcareous stony layers. These stones are useful for the construction of buildings.